Dance. Dance. Naslovia. Repeat, motherfucker. I think that's pretty good. Okay. It's me, Oriane. I am back with another story for you. Tonight we are doing something new. It's a bedtime story. I thought every time I tell you a story from my new book, Men Aren't Funny, I would do a different theme. So tonight's bedtime story theme. So I'm here in bed. Regina's here as well. Do you want to come say hi? Come here. Come on. She's actually going to do it. Hi, this is Regina George. She's my main bitch. Oh, thank you. That's okay. I'm sorry. That's what happens when you go to the pound and you adopt the dog named Regina George. Okay. All right. You hot? You want some wine? Okay. All right. Go. Okay. Well, she's laying down now. That was very jarring. Which is actually on point. Let me put my wine down. So, our story tonight is also jarring. It's kind of sexual and kind of spooky, and I thought if the story is about sex or something spooky, it would be fun to do it as a bedtime story. So that's why we're doing this from my bedroom. If you watched the last video that I made, it was on the beach. Those stories are called Not Literary Goes to the Beach. Tonight, as you saw from the intro, tonight is called Not Literary Bedtime Stories with Not Literary. I was going to say Not Literary Goes to Bed, but whatever. You call it whatever you want to. I'm just glad you're here for this story. Tonight we're going to talk about Tinder, baby. This story is called Tinderella, and it's by me, Oriane Rutter. Izzy had been fucking a lot of people, but at her core, she was a hopeless romantic. We were besties. Our short but intense bond formed one night on the patio of the Pike Bar, when she overheard me expounding on the value of dating a male model. The Pike was dead. It was a Wednesday night, hours before their slated rockabilly band brought in a slew of middle-aged punk rockers. I was a few drinks deep and talking too loud. But he actually wasn't an idiot. Turns out he was just foreign. Like, all the GW jokes didn't land because, hello, he had only been here for like 8 months. I was talking to my other new bestie, Bianca. Anyway, my bad. But he was hot. Everyone should date a male model, at least once, I told Bianca over the watermark tabletop littered with our empties. They're just so pretty. I'm sorry, excuse me, a sparky strawberry blonde interjected, her smile glowing blue in the bar lights. Did you just say everyone should date a male model? She wrapped an oversized pashmina around her angular shoulders and scooted over to our table. I'm Izzy. She extended her hand. She was waifish and eager. That night, the three of us became a trio of hotties. Picture it. There was Bianca, a petite Scarlett Johansson look-alike with a natural full pout and frizzless brunette curls. Bianca had a sweet job bartending at the best wine bar in town. She was educated, open-minded, and from Long Beach, but she lacked any beach bum or burnout vibe. There was me, a mouthy Amazon with waist-length shiny black hair and legs for days. I was brand new to LA and happy to share a glass of wine and a story with whoever. And there was Izzy, a bronzed and borderline bony yoga instructor, always wrapped in a long swath of exotic organic fabric, but wearing little under that. Izzy was a dancer, and damaged in the way all artists are, deeply. We got along great. Of course, one of us had to fuck it up. Literally. Izzy couldn't keep it in her pants. She claimed this was because of her breakup with Christopher, a guy she swore was the one. Christopher lived in my apartment complex, and I observed him. To Izzy, he was godlike. She couldn't shake him. She couldn't stop thinking about him, couldn't stop drinking about him. To me, he looked like a towny loser. He always had on the same pair of dusty jeans and unwashed dirt blonde hair. He carried a banjo strapped to his back almost all the time. I was pretty sure he didn't play the banjo. I never saw him play it. No music came from his upstairs apartment. But every time I saw him, there it was. One day, he was at the bodega with the banjo. The next, he was biking on the beach path with the banjo. Oh, look, it's Chris buying a can of beans at the Ralph's, and what do you know? He's got his banjo. I didn't get it. Was he Appalachian? Into hopping trains? Seriously, someone tell me why that would be appealing. Why would someone like Izzy be strung out over him? I suspected that the poison in Izzy's wound was from something else, but it made no difference. The wound was there, her heart was broken, and so Izzy was fucking everyone. At first, this was fine with Bianca and me. We weren't the type to slut shame, neither of us were saints. But as Izzy's body count piled up, her unabashed sex tour of Long Beach took a toll on our friendship. I grew nervous around Izzy. Every time we went out, we ran into one or two guys she had slept with, and the encounters were jarring. She would casually tell me creepy dating stories. An older, wealthy guy who was visibly high on ecstasy, an ugly, short guy who talked to himself in her bathroom mirror, and even a drug dealer who had punched her in the face during sex. That one really worried me. She laughed it all off, but this was clearly hurting Izzy. I could see it in her eyes and in the way her smile cracked when she told the stories. I was afraid this was really fucking her up. I was afraid she was going to get hurt more acutely, like worse than getting punched in the face. I didn't like the way people looked at me when I was with her either. I was a slut by association, and not the kind of slut I like to be. I don't like people thinking that I lack boundaries or self-respect. I didn't want to get hurt acutely or otherwise. Plus, Long Beach is small. Everywhere I went, with or without her, Izzy's rejects would shoot their shot my way. Are you kidding me? No. Bianca and Izzy had a more complicated dynamic. The two had so much in common. They were the same height and of similar build, which is enough to spark competitiveness in any two women, especially in LA. They were both long-term residents of Long Beach who lived and worked on 4th Street, so they knew a lot of the same people. They wore similar clothes, listened to similar music. They were both Scorpios, both single, and both looking for love in all the wrong dive bars. Hell, they even had the same nose ring. When Izzy's voracious vagina started gobbling up everything around her, it started eating up a lot of Bianca's world too. Izzy was everywhere Bianca went, looking similar, demanding a kind of desperate attention. Bianca resented this. Izzy was the topic of every conversation, the girls self-immolating on whatever bar patio Bianca was at, while she was just trying to have a drink with her friends. It was persistent. Izzy did this, or oh, Izzy did that, or oh my God, can you believe Izzy? Bianca was over it. And then Izzy fucked Bianca's work boyfriend, Cole. Bianca snapped. Why is she trying to be me? Bianca asked, frankly, one night. She was irate. We chose to have drinks at her place, somewhere we knew we wouldn't run into our friend. Seriously, it's like she's trying to take my fucking life. Bianca uncorked a bottle of Linné Colodo. She always had the best wine from work. Like a slutty body snatcher? I joked. But Bianca was serious. The overlapping similarities and inability to escape Izzy was creeping her out. I didn't think Izzy was trying to hurt Bianca. I didn't think Izzy was trying to hurt anyone but herself. But that's the thing about hopeless romantics. They don't self-destruct in a vacuum. I just don't get why she's so upset with me, Izzy said, and popped a crumb of vegan lavender scone in her mouth. Does she like him? She never said she liked him. I sat with her outside of Portfolio, our local coffee shop. The air smelled a little like trash, traffic, and the Pacific. So salty, sweet, and polluted. I plucked a grape tomato off my avocado toast and popped it in my mouth. Look, I wanted to smooth everything over between my friends. I knew things had gotten messy, but we used to have so much fun together. You're not getting it. I don't think she had to tell any of us that she liked him. And she doesn't, like him, but he's hers. I didn't think I needed to explain what a work husband was to Izzy, but apparently that's ridiculous. Izzy pushed her scone away, out of its white paper wrapper and onto the metal table. I can't eat this. I think you just apologize, yeah? Maybe put your pussy on ice for a month or so, I suggested. What? Well, that's not going to happen. I mean, yeah, absolutely, I'll apologize. I really didn't think sleeping with Cole would be such a big deal, but I'm not going to stop dating. A big black fly landed on the scone. Oh my God. Speaking of which, look at this. Izzy whipped out her phone and turned it to me. I pushed my white cat eye sunglasses down on my nose and squinted in the sun to see. Tinder, the screen read. I sunk my teeth into a big bite of avocado toast. An orange drip of chili oil ran down my chin. It's new, she told me, and scooted over to my side of the table. She smelled like patchouli and sweat. It's really fun. You swipe on the guys you like or don't like, and then if they like you, you get a match and you can meet up. You can set your location and basically see who's right next to you. Great, I groaned, wiping my mouth. Isn't OkCupid bad enough? Or Plenty of Fish? What else do you use? Christian Farmers? JDate? I took a beat to think. Maybe change your location, like on the app. You'll meet new guys that way. I didn't suggest this to be helpful. I was just tired of running into Izzy's Long Beach scraps everywhere I went. Good idea, Izzy smiled and tossed her uneaten breakfast in the trash can next to us. True to her word, Izzy did apologize to Bianca and really put her all into it. This put a band-aid over things, but fixed nothing. Bianca now distrusted Izzy, and that was that. She withdrew from both of us. Izzy also kept her word about continuing to date, this time on Tinder. Tinder was new and Tinder was popular. Everyone seemed to be swiping on everyone, and so Izzy's dating really popped off. Instead of fucking everyone in Long Beach, she took my advice and started seeing everyone in the greater Los Angeles area. With more dates came more stories, stories that went from slightly scary to downright harrowing. I kept my distance more and more, afraid of how this would end. Without Bianca or Izzy to hang out with, I got lonely. I started online dating a little myself. One day, Izzy called me, frantic. I hate him, she cried over the phone. Want to get a coffee? I had no idea which guy this was about. I had stopped keeping track. I have class in 45 minutes, she said. Her keys jangled in the background and she shoved them into her purse. But I don't think I can teach like this. I'm in physical pain. Should I cancel class? Was she crying? This was new. There was no hangover, no bad date that would cause Izzy to cancel one of her yoga classes. She was very disciplined in that way. You're in pain? I was curious. Girl, I think Jamie gave me fucking herpes. Holy shit, I said. Sure, I was tired of Izzy's self-destruction, but a herpes scare is no time to be judgy. What do you need? I forgot which phone I was on. Izzy, me. Okay. Back to the story. What do you need? Do you have it, right now? How do you know it was Jamie? Did you get a test? Jamie was another townie that had become Izzy's latest obsession. He was short and unattractive. Bianca and I had joked that he looked like a sea polyp. You know, in The Little Mermaid, when Ursula turns Ariel's dad into like that little scriggly, scraggly thing at the bottom of the ocean? Yeah, that's a sea polyp. That's what Jamie looked like. No wonder Izzy was so upset. I'm coming over, I told her. Cancel class. You can't instruct if your pussy hurts. I went to the Rite Aid and did my best to make a care package for my friend. I got ibuprofen, Skittles flavored lip gloss, 2 bottles of nail polish in shades Like a Virgin and Sen Noodles, Panda print face masks, and some vegan chocolates. You know, things to soothe the brokenhearted. Things to soothe somebody going through a herpes scare. I got myself an ice cream cone, strawberry cheesecake, from the thrifty ice cream counter and ate it on my way to Izzy's. I would have gotten you ice cream, but it's too hot, I said as I pushed my way into Izzy's studio apartment. I tossed my melting cone into the kitchen trash can. Plus, I knew you wouldn't eat it. But there's some treats in there. I handed her the bag of goodies. Just some stuff to make you feel better for now. We can get you Valtrex if it ends up really being herpes. We sat on Izzy's bed. She was wearing a baggy t-shirt, and we sifted through her gifts. This is so nice. Thank you, Izzy said. She had tears in her eyes. Her voice was unusually shaky. I just don't get it. She picked up her phone and opened Tinder. She held the phone up. What am I doing wrong? She started scrolling through images of men on the app, holding the phone up to show me. She was accidentally swiping right on all of them. I am out every night with these guys, and none of them want to be my boyfriend. She dropped her phone on the bed and collapsed backwards onto a pillow. And so now what? Jamie? She threw her arms up in the air. Am I stuck with Jamie now? I mean, if we both have herpes. She was crying now. Oh, please. It's probably an ingrown hair, I told her. Anyone who sat through sex ed in middle school has had a herpes scare or two. It's a rite of passage. I helped myself to water from the Brita filter in Izzy's fridge. Shit, I'm surprised it took you this long. He doesn't even read my texts. Izzy opened Tinder again and began scrolling, intentionally this time, swiping right over and over again. I'm just never going to find a boyfriend. She looked like a maniac, her eyes darting to the right as each passing Tinder profile begat another. I watched Izzy betray herself like it was nothing. She was self-aware and totally unapologetic about it. This was maddening. She had just admitted that what she was doing was not working, in the middle of a herpes scare, no less. And then she went ahead and did the same stupid thing all over again. I couldn't stand to watch it. I snatched the device out of her hands. What is this? Is ruining your life your fucking kink? I scrolled through a few images of men, swiping left. These guys? No one is on here to find a girlfriend, Izzy. Jesus! I threw the phone onto the bed. Tinder is just Grindr for straight people. Grindr? Izzy asked. You have got to be kidding me, I scoffed. Yeah, Grindr, the gay hookup app, I told her. Gay guys have been meeting for casual, location-based sex forever. Tinder is the same, but for straight guys. I took my phone out of my purse. It's a fuck app. Look, I'm pretty sure that's why they copied the name. I pulled up Grindr on the App Store and showed her. Then I opened one of the dating apps I was using, OkCupid, and opened the messages I had received from various suitors for contrast. I passed my phone to Izzy. Why are they so... Izzy scrolled through the messages men had sent me. Polite. Polite? I mean, they're not that polite. But maybe because OkCupid isn't a fuck app, at least not overtly, there's still some guys of, yeah, but this guy. Izzy's voice jumped and she pointed at the screen on my phone. This guy messaged me too. On Tinder? I asked. Escandalo. What did he say? He just asked me for nudes and wanted to meet up at like 2 a.m., same as the rest of them, she told me. He asked you to dinner? Izzy shook her head, pondering. Izzy and I were of the same attractiveness level. We had the same level of education and made about the same amount of money. We lived in the same neighborhood and had similar interests. And yet, the same guy had asked me to dinner and Izzy for nudes and a hookup. I've met this guy before. Izzy found another familiar face going through my messages. Oh, yeah. And this guy? She held up my phone. Do not go out with him. She continued going down the list of men who had messaged me on OkCupid. She found more identical suitors whom she had met through Tinder. This piqued my interest. I always assumed guys online were casting the proverbial wide net and using all the apps, but I never had proof. I also had a creeping suspicion that men treated women differently depending on their perception of us. I wondered how the men I interacted with online treated the women who came before me and the women who would come after. I wondered the same about the men I had met in real life. On Tinder, of all places, I saw an opportunity. If I compared the same men on different dating apps, what would I find? How much do these guys change their personas, profiles, and messaging tactics to maximize getting laid? How many times had a nice guy approached me and then approached Izzy as a total fucking deviant? How ruthless were these men? Was everyone lying? 50%? 75? Here was my chance, not just to answer these questions, but to maybe help my friends. This would be my own little case study. I would dedicate it to getting to the bottom of this douchebaggery and to getting Izzy off Tinder. Yay! I love an experiment. First, I had to join the app. I built a profile. I slapped together some pics, the same ones I had used on OkCupid and Bumble, and left my interests and description underdeveloped. I said next to nothing about myself, assuming a blank page would attract the most responses from all kinds of guys. I didn't want to come off as an intellectual or a dummy, just your run-of-the-mill, pretty and willing girl next door. I also simplified my other dating profiles so I could compare them to Tinder fairly. That, I believe, is what we call a control variable. Next, I started swiping. Izzy was right. Tinder did have an appeal. I forgot about the scientific method for a while and genuinely swiped right or left on guys, depending on their attractiveness. I enjoyed playing with these strangers like human Pokemon cards. Soon, though, the cute guys ran out. I was swiping left more and more and more. After 20 or so unlikely suitors had floated over my screen, I felt something shift mentally. I felt like I was playing a video game that had just gotten harder. Originally, the game was easy. Cute, swipe right. Ugly, swipe left. But now, no one was cute. I had to concentrate harder to determine the level of attractiveness of each man, or I'd never swipe right on anyone. And wasn't that the goal? To swipe right, get a match, and hear that little electronic ba-da-da ping. My logical brain told me swipe left on all of the men I didn't find attractive, but my lizard brain kept saying, girl, wait a minute, he's not so bad, is he? Although it was not the original hypothesis of my experiment, the original being that guys are lying and using two different personalities online, I wondered, would my standards in real life change in correlation with my options as quickly as they did on Tinder? Because, damn, that was fast. When all Tinder showed me were less attractive profiles, I started considering them almost immediately. If, in real life, I were bombarded with this many options, and many of them were awful, how long would it take until I considered them? And didn't meeting a lot of guys on Tinder in real life count as real life? Was this effect already happening? Was this why so many of the amazing women I knew had horrible, no good boyfriends? I was getting way off track. I shook off my second line of questioning and focused on the task at hand. I started swiping right on every profile, homely or not. I wasn't here to find a date. I was here to find a large sample size of men for my experiment. It's a match! Popped up on my screen over and over again. I kept swiping. After an hour or so, Izzy huddled over my shoulder, watching the entire time. I was swiped out. Let's get a drink, I said, and put my phone in my purse. Not even 2 vodka sodas later, and my Tinder account was blowing up. Ba-da-da ping, ba-da-da ping, ba-da-da ping. I had countless matches and corresponding messages from guys. They ran the gamut of lameness. I got a lot of,
Hey, hey, sup, what you doing? Hey, cutie.
and the like. No message stood out as original or interesting. This was already different from the messages I got on OkCupid and Bumble. There, 1 out of every 3 messages or so would be a few sentences long, ask me a question or two about myself, and came off as at least a little crafted. You gotta start responding, Izzy told me. Are any of them cute? Like, are any of them actual matches? That's not the point, I snapped playfully and took a sip of my third drink. We were back on the patio of the Pike. A few late afternoon day drinkers, beach town types, populated the air-conditioned bar, but we stayed outside so we could smoke and swipe. I took long drags on my Marlboro Light 100 while Izzy puffed on an American Spirit, the kind with the orange label. The more we drank and the more we Tindered, the more a familiar little devil began to appear on my shoulder.
All these guys, all these lame-ass messages.
The devil whispered in my ear.
I bet you could say anything to these idiots and they'd still show up,
He continued. I laughed a little. Adding alcohol to my case study was a fun move. I looked down my striped paper straw and into my drink, and then up at Izzy. What do you usually say? Like, when they message you? I don't know, Izzy said. Normal stuff, like where we can meet up and what time. It's that cut and dry, huh?
order some shots and send some nasty nudes.
The devil on my shoulder chimed in. I swatted him away, but signaled to the nearby cocktail waitress to bring another round. Ba-da-da-ping! I had a new Tinder match from Alejandro. Alejandro was actually pretty cute. He was nearby, too. Alejandro.
Hey, pretty, how are you?
This was not a terrible start compared to some of the previous 1 or 2 worded messages I had gotten. Here we go, I told Izzy. Okay, I'm responding. Me.
Hello, Alejandro.
I typed, stopping to think and laughing to myself.
I just don't know. My teeth fell out with 0 warning and I'm just so fucking confused.
I laughed more. What? What did you say? Izzy was literally on the edge of her bar seat. I showed her the screen. Alejandro.
What? No way!
He responded appropriately.
Are you okay?
Me.
I don't know. Why did tooth just fall out? I have a big meeting in the morning. Should I put a chiclet in there? It's my goddamn front tooth.
Let's see if he'll meet up, I told Izzy, and went back to Tindering. Me.
I need a drink.
Alejandro.
Where are you?
He responded in less than 2 seconds.
I could go for a drink.
Oh my God, I told Izzy. He wants to meet up. Oh my God, she said. Tell him to come to the bar. Girl, fuck no. Let's do another one. I put the soggy paper straw to my lips and took a long sip. And so it began. Tinderella. My attempt at a social and scientific experiment was just me and some friends drinking and tindering, messing with men on the app. What would these guys think if I was toothless, or better yet, missing a few parts due to leprosy? What if I had a nasty vaginal infection? What if it really stunk? Would they still meet up? Would they still try and hit? And oh, baby, would they? Below are a few actual messages to and from my suitors on Tinder. Warning, this gets gross. Kenny,
Scared to say hello?
me.
Sorry I haven't responded. My pubic hair is all matted. I'm trying to comb it out and then the comb got stuck. I'm freaking out. Should I burn it?
Kenny,
Cut it off. Ha ha. Then let me come lick it.
Yucky. I did not have Kenny come lick it. Brian,
Hey, hey.
me.
Brian, thank God. Someone finally.
Brian,
Ha ha. What are you up to?
2 being the number 2. Although I'm sure if he wrote it out, he would have said like TOO. Brian was crafty with his spelling. Me. Okay, sorry, back to the story. Brian,
Ha ha. What are you up to?
me.
I'm washing it.
Brian,
Question mark, question mark.
me.
I've tried everything. But it's so crispy.
Brian,
I've been fucking all day. Come over.
fucking all day? Fucking what all day, Brian? The head in your freezer, maybe. The next message was from a guy I knew from the bar where I worked. I had passed my phone and Tinder account to my friend Jesse, so this one came from him. Ricky.
Hey girl, what you up to?
Poor Ricky. He was actually a pretty nice guy in real life, but all fair in love and science. Jesse.
Pooping.
Ricky.
Pooping?
Yeah, pooping. Shitting. Wishing that Duca free. Checking a turd loose.
And then Jesse waited, a dramatic pause. Jesse.
You alright?
Ricky.
Wanna meet up?
I continued this for weeks. It was really fun. Punking guys on Tinder was like a modern day prank call. I couldn't believe how gullible and undiscerning these men were. They didn't care if I was the girl next door as shown in my pictures, or if I was a street urchin covered in crusty scabs like I told them in my messages. They were on my way no matter what. Not a single man on Tinder ever passed on me. Not one. I felt this was plenty of proof to get Izzy off of the site, but what about the other apps? The response I got on Tinder was only half of the experiment. I began cross-checking my Tinder messages with the messages I received on OkCupid and Bumble. Many of the same men approached me across all 3 platforms. Tinder and Bumble had the highest crossover rate, over 50%. Very few of the men recognized me from one site to the other, or if they did, they didn't mention it. The messages I got on Bumble and OkCupid were polite, asking me out on dates. Often, in the same 24-hour period, a guy who had asked me out that morning on Bumble would ask me on Tinder to come over late that night. This was all in spite of my crusty panties, matted pubes, bad gonorrhea outbreak, or if I was jerking a turd loose or whatever. Eventually, I grew tired of how bleak Tinder and the rest of dating sites made me feel. I slowly unbuttoned my white lab coat. I tossed it to the floor. I took off my smart but sexy spectacles. I pulled the ballpoint pen from my French twist and shook my hair loose. I kicked off my high heels and just kidding. But I ended the experiment. I presented my findings to Izzy, and can you believe it? It worked. My experiment was a success. Izzy was convinced. She dropped Tinder and didn't look back. Mission accomplished. Now, what do my findings mean for you and for me? I could intellectualize here. I could go on a rant about how infinite scroll and the method in which apps presented to us make the unappealing seem appealing, makes our options seem infinite when, in fact, they are not viable options at all. I could lament over how applying this marketing tactic to our love life is causing maybe irreparable damage. I could talk about the exploitation of a dopamine rush on online dating, online shopping, online use in general, the unethical aspects of dating being run as a business, the harsh implications of patriarchy over internet use in general, as in like all these apps are made by guys. But you've heard most of that by now, right? You're tired of all that by now, right? Instead, I'll tell you what I really learned from my friendship with Izzy and during the Tinderella experiment. Online dating is no place for a hopeless romantic. And Tinder, baby, Tinder is the fucking worst. Okay, that was it. That's my new story, Tinderella. If you are a big online dater, God bless you. I'm here for you. It's a jungle out there, babe, but you know, oh, I have an idea. All my contact info is listed in the description below, or you can go to www.orianderudder.com. Send me your dating horror stories. I would love to hear them, or your successful dating stories. Like maybe make me feel a little bit better about online dating. I hope that you had fun tonight, and if you're ready for bed, I'm going to say goodnight in just a second. But if you like stories like this, my website again is orianderudder.com. It's listed in the description underneath this video. You can find new stories there every week or so. Next story coming up is kind of a caper. It's about cheating on your partner and then also a heist, but an unusual heist that happens kind of at the same time. Should be a fun story to tell. And we're going to do that one as a happy hour story. So it's going to be happy hour with Not Literary. I'm going to make a cocktail, tell you the ingredients so you can make a cocktail too. We'll have a drink together and have story time. Okay, I hope you had fun. Thank you so much for watching and good night. Bye.